I love my Kona Electric. It's stealthy quick and surprisingly fun to drive. But I'd be lying if I said my mind hasn't wandered from time to time, wondering what the Kona might be like with a souped up tempo. And here it is, living at the opposite end of the Kona spectrum, the new Kona N, a performance SUV within financial reach.
$35,445. That's the modest price of the Kona N, one of the most unique enthusiast cars on the market today, or shall I say SUV. However you describe the Kona N, this is Hyundai at its nuttiest, and I mean that in a good way. The high-performance N story began with the Veloster and has since spread to the Elantra and now the Kona, with more to come later this year. Available in white, black, blue, or red, with a 2-liter turbo, 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, a limited slip, electronically controlled shocks, and summer-use Pirelli rubber, the Kona N is a front-wheel drive hooligan. With 276 horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque delivered more linearly via what Hyundai dubs flat power technology, this is a torque steering, exhaust-popping, rigid ride with fun technology built in. Names like Grin Shift, Grin Control, and Corner Carving Differential intertwine with N-Mode infotainment, creating a video game-like atmosphere. There's launch control, all sorts of ways to measure and monitor your performance, and even built-in racetrack layouts with lap timers.
The first thing you notice in here are these suede sports seats that provide just the right amount of friction and side bolstering. They're actually very comfortable. And then your eyes catch these N switches on the steering wheel and this little weird red button down here labeled NGS, and that's when you realize this is going to be a lot of fun.
Short for N Grin Shift, when you press this button, it's like inserting a sugar IV needle into a kid's arm. 20 seconds of overboosted turbo and the most aggressive shifting available when rapid acceleration is required. A countdown clock in the driver display keeps track of time. But as for launch control, the procedure is a little wonky and only grabbed a 5.7 second 0 to 60 time for me, whereas low 5s are the reported norm. With less than favorable surface conditions, perhaps that's to be expected, but it actually feels faster without the electronic assist. Hyundai has blessed this Kona with larger brakes, 19-inch wheels, and something regular front-wheel drive gas-fueled Konas don't get, a multi-link rear suspension. And though there are adjustable shocks, even the normal setting is high-strung. By the time you reach Sport Plus, it's the most inflexible stock suspension tune any new car offers. The body is constantly reacting to the road, and you feel every little pebble. You can configure your own N modes here for a number of components, and then assign them to the steering wheel switches. Engine, transmission, limited slip, suspension, steering, stability control, exhaust sound, it's all there for customization. There's even a feature that uses a camera to read road signs, and when an S-bend is ahead, the Kona will prompt you to select N mode. Unfortunately, not working on my tester. When driving in eco or normal, it's fairly docile, yet still tight. Things ratchet up in sport mode, but remain relatively tame. It's not until you summon N mode that things get serious. And though the beefed up DCT shifts quickly, this is a car that benefits from using the paddle shifters, holding those gears longer, and controlling the pops and bangs coming out of the pipes. Lots of understeer is on the menu, however, which makes me wish for the Golf R's all-wheel drive torque vectoring rear axle.
This Kona is an absolute hoot. It is super stiff, and it gives you the feeling that you're behind the wheel of a rally car. Just wish there was a handbrake up here. And when that turbo kicks in, you'd better have two hands on the wheel, because this is Saab 9.3 Vigan level torque steer we're talking about. Now, as a whole, this car is not as polished as the Golf R that I recently tested, but therein lies its charm. The Kona N makes you the driver and not the other way around. And when you're carving through these passes with the exhaust crackling, it will definitely put a grin on your face whether you press this red button down here or not. Just let your chiropractor know you're going to need regular visits.
Gas mileage is rated at 20 mpg city, 27 highway, and the Kona N will accept regular unleaded. Everything you see here is standard, and there are no options. But the exterior isn't as exciting as it could be. Without this racing red paint and these large bore outlets, this Kona would really fly under the radar. And as compared with my Kona, this one doesn't have a sunroof, head-up display, rain-sensing wipers, or smart cruise control with stop and go, so even though this is the most expensive gas-powered Kona in the lineup, it's not the most loaded. Nevertheless, Hyundai's high-end infotainment system is top-notch, minus the fact that you can't get wireless phone projection. There are heated seats, thoughtful end details, high beam assist, an overperforming 8-speaker Harman Kardon stereo with Clarify music restoration technology, a rear USB port, and tons of active safety features. The BlueLink app is excellent too, and Digital Key is supported as long as you have an Android device. Living with one, I can tell you the rear seats are small, but the cargo area is decent with the seats folded. So the Kona N, even though it can't tow, can eat up some stuff and supports a roof rack, unlike my EV. In a car this rambunctious, though, I wouldn't mind more styling. But kudos to Hyundai for producing something this crazy that isn't so over the top that it's completely impractical. This one's for the driver who craves automotive personality. For TestDriveNow.com, I'm Steve Hammis.